everyone, my name is Vina, aka Miss WC Reader, and welcome back to my channel. And today I am just coming at you with a little reading vlog. So I am super excited for the premiere of the Little Mermaid live action movie. Like, I was a huge Mermaid fan growing up, and that was solely because of The Little Mermaid. I loved that movie. I wore out my VHS. I would go over to my grandma's house and wear out hers. I had sheets, I had dolls, I had a music box, I had pajamas, posters on my wall. I loved The Little Mermaid, and my love for The Little Mermaid had me seeking out all things mermaid. So whenever I saw a mermaid book in the store, I automatically wanted it, to the point where my mom had to ban me from buying mermaid books. And I remember she totally told me one year before the Scholastic Book Fair that I was banned from buying mermaid books. So I secretly bought Aquamarine because that year they had so many mermaid books out at the book fair. So my love has just constantly persisted, and I love that in more recent years we're seeing more black mermaids in books, and I've been collecting all of them. Some of them I've been sharing with my niece. I have her hyped for the movie too, even though Little Mermaid is not her favorite. But we've been reading some of the books together, and there's some great books that I saw that came out recently that I've been trying to share. And so I have a big stack of books that I just wanted to talk to you about, and then I will talk to you about the ones that I will be reading for this vlog leading up to the premiere of The Little Mermaid. So if you've been following me, you may have heard me talk about a few of these books already. So I have Josephine Against the Sea, which is a book that's set in the Caribbean on a fictionalized island similar to that of Barbados. And it follows a young girl named Josephine whose mother passed away a few years ago, and she lives alone. She lives with her father, and she's always trying to run off his potential girlfriends, but then this mysterious woman comes to town and suddenly is moving herself in to live with them, and it's very crazy. It's a lot of fun. And she finds out that this lady is possibly a river mama, which is a mermaid-like creature who has evil powers, and it's just a fun time. And I loved the voice of this one, and it was very comedic, super enjoyable. Similar to Josephine Against the Sea is A Comb of Wishes. So we are also following a young girl who lives on a Caribbean-esque island, and she also lost her mother, albeit a little bit more recently, and she's living with her father. But where it differs is she is trying to bring her mother back, and she finds this mysterious comb in a wildlife preservation area that she knows she shouldn't take, but she takes anyway. And she this evil mermaid is after her. It's another really good story that deals with coping with grief. Rise of the Jumbies. So this is the second one in the Jumbies series, and in the first book we're following young Karen, who is who is dealing with grief from the loss of her mother, and then this mysterious woman shows up in town. Now she finds out she and this woman have a connection, and she finds out that she has these special powers. So in book 2, she's dealing with the aftermath of the events in book 1, and this one kind of blends both the African folklore and the Caribbean folklore and kind of shows you where they intersect. I thought this was a really cool story and definitely worth checking out, but of course you do have to start with book 1. Skin of the Sea, and I really enjoyed Skin of the Sea. It's partially based off of the story of The Little Mermaid, but with a West African twist to it. And I really enjoyed it. I still do need to pick up book 2. Hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. But I think if you like The Little Mermaid, you like this one. It does talk about slavery a little bit in it, and our main character here, part of her job is to help guide the enslaved Africans who've been thrown overboard, and she fails at her job here and stuff kind of ensues. Mermaid Kenzie, Protector of the Deep. So this is actually just a fun picture book about a girl who loves mermaids and she loves the ocean. So she like puts on her little like fake mermaid tail when she goes out with her mom to swim in the ocean, and it teaches you all about conserving ocean, you know, protecting it, keeping it clean. And it's also written in AVE, which not a lot of picture books are, so it's very relatable. And I really thought this was just a standout worthy picture book. And then Mermaid and Pirate I've talked about recently, and it is about a mermaid and a pirate. They don't speak the same language, but they learn to communicate and become friends anyway. Okay, now we're getting into the books that I will be reading for this vlog. So I have The Little Mermaid, Make a Splash, which is written by Ashley Franklin and the illustrations are by Paul Kellum. So this is just a picture book adaptation of the movie, and it's one that I'm really stoked to read. Like, I bought this strictly because I'm like, I love the illustrations. You know, I think they've done like a phenomenal job just like getting people hyped for this movie, between the collabs, between the merch. Like, I have not seen them do a rollout like this for any other Disney movie, which is really awesome. And come on now, look at the material. Like, it's just gorgeous and it's a lot of fun. And I'm gonna sit down with my niece and read it before the movie. I'm not going with her to the movie though, because I don't want kids to ruin my experience. The theater will probably already have plenty of kids and they're not great at sitting through movies, so we've just been reading the mermaid books and having fun. The Mermaid Princesses. This is by Maya Cameron Gordon and Muriel Ortega. This is one that I saw and I was super hyped about as well. Once again, I'm glad we're getting so many great picture books with black mermaids, and it's going to be wonderful for the children to be able to see these images. So I was really curious about this one and to figure out what the Mermaid Princesses are about. And then like I saw some of the illustrations and just like, look at that. It's so fun. It's so pretty. I'm like excited to tell you guys what that one is about. Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. So while this isn't mermaids, this is actually sirens. It is a YA fantasy I've heard so many great things about. I have some mutuals who are friends with Gabby and told me I definitely have to check this one out. And I'm all for it. I am looking for a fun YA fantasy for the summer. So this one comes out at the end of June. I did receive a finished copy courtesy of Bloomsbury, and I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. And last, I have The Little Mermaid, the novelization. So this is just the novelization of the movie. I want to read it before I go see the movie. I picked a Sunday showing of the movie just because I wanted to be in when everybody is not in there, and I figured Sunday would be a lot more quiet than Saturday. And it would also give me time to hurry up and finish reading this story, and which will prep me for some of the changes they made. I'm really interested in seeing like what changes they made, because like there were some that I heard about, like changing the sisters' names, which I didn't really understand, or I know they're gonna change like some of the music around and stuff. So it'll be fun to see how the new changes actually translate to the movie. But I'm just super hyped for this, and I can't wait to watch. And I can't wait to tell you guys about these books that I'll be reading. Hey guys, so I am back, and there's this new bubble tea bar in town, and the bubble tea is like liquid crack. This is my second time ordering from them, and they are amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to buy my own stuff to make my own boba tea so I can save some coin, because I don't want to be frequenting them all the time. But I did do some slight reading, and I was able to get my picture books read, of course. So I read Make a Splash, which is by the lovely written by the lovely Ashley Franklin and illustrated by Paul Kellum. And Ashley Franklin is already like an author who I bought her book Not Quite Snow White, and then she has a sequel to that called Better Together Cinderella, which I bought for one of my nieces. We have not read it yet because I've been staggering how I give her picture books. But the art was like really amazing in this one. It's gorgeous. I'm like, it just like looks just like Hallie, and it just got me really excited for the movie, which is in a few days. And then read The Mermaid Princesses, which is one I was reading to my niece, and we really loved it. Like, y'all, this one is so good as well. So it's about these three like mermaid sister princesses, and like they all want to be queen, so they're all trying to figure out how they can be queen, and they like get in an argument over it, and they like run across this dolphin who is like who gets like captured, and then there's like this shark, and it's just a fun story. It's illustrated by Mirella Ortega, and I just want to show you guys the art because she did such a great job. Like, let me see if we can pull it up. There it is. That is just so pretty. So this one is definitely going to be another fave, and like I'm really excited. I got like some mermaid stuff from the Dollar Tree for my nieces. We're just gonna paint these mermaids and celebrate, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that this weekend because I got a lot of stuff to do before I see the movie. But if we don't get to do it this weekend, we're gonna try and do it a different weekend. And I just want to bring back up Mermaid and Pirate because I was talking to my niece about it. I didn't read her copy with her. I just like dropped off her copy. She was so her sister was supposed to get Mermaid and Pirate, and then I got her This Is Ariel, which is it's an adaptation of Little Mermaid, like the new version, but for like children who are reading on their own. And she took Mermaid and Pirate instead, and I'm like, oh, that one wasn't for you. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, I'm just gonna keep it anyway because it's the better story. So like I told Tracy Baptiste who wrote this, I'm just like, well, Tracy, I got high praise for you because she said it's the better story, and she chose you over Ariel, so that means it's definitely good. So you know, my niece said this is the better story than Little Mermaid, so it's definitely worth checking out. She is a little book reviewer in the making. So tonight I want to start Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton, which now I'm like really feeling the pressure because a couple days ago like I opened the mail and I saw that they sent me a finished copy, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to start this tonight because again I am reading this before I see the movie this weekend. And I even whipped out my special mermaid bookmark, which is by Olivia Smith Art, and she's on Etsy. She does great mermaid art prints as well, and I'm about to dive in because I've heard so many great things about this one. So I will check in with you guys probably tomorrow because I'm going to try and spend the rest of the night reading. Hey, I'm just doing a quick check-in because I am like so happy right now. So I was scrolling my email and I saw an email from the travel agency that I used for my trip last year to Disney World. They're always sending me emails, but I decided to open it and I saw it said that they are doing a complimentary screening of Little Mermaid on June 11th. And it is for everybody who used the charter already. And if you have like any friends who are interested in possibly using the charter. So I am ecstatic because that means I get to see the movie again for free. I'm definitely already gonna see it opening weekend, like I knew without a doubt, but I knew this is a movie that I'm just gonna want to watch again and again. So I was like so happy when I saw that email, and I just had to come on here and share my excitement real quick before I get back to the reading. Hey everyone, I'm back and I finished Sing Me to Sleep. So I actually kind of raced through it. This is the first time in a long time that I've read a YA book so quickly. Usually it takes me a few days, but this one, like, I couldn't put it down to the point where I was up till like 4 in the morning finishing it. But it was so good. One thing, like, right off the bat got me was just the writing. Gabby Burton did her thing in this book. So we are following Saoirse, and she is keeping this secret that she is a siren. She is the only siren left in the place that she lives in, which is like trapped behind a barrier. So most of the people like around her are fae. Her fae are like considered higher level in the kingdom, but there's like a bit of a hierarchy. And she lives with her adoptive fae parents and her little sister, who is actually a human, who are like the lowest of the low in their kingdom. So everything Saoirse is doing, she's trying to do to take care of her sister and keep her protected. She is employed by this employer. She has no clue who they are, but they will send her assignments and pay her to kill men, and she's okay with it because her siren instincts mean she naturally has this urge that needs to be satisfied to kill anyway. And then all that money she would decide to help her sister, because they have to like keep her sister hidden. They have to pay off her school. They have to buy these beads to like disguise themselves, because anybody who looks at Saoirse in her like true form, they like are immediately under her trance. So she has to constantly wear like these special like magical beads that will give her a different face. And so like the face that she regularly wears has like this big burn on it, because like people will notice it and be kind of like repulsed by it, so they won't like be as drawn to her. So she is hoping to get a job as an enforcer after she graduates from this like academy she goes to, but instead she actually gets offered a job with the prince, and she doesn't want to take the job at first, but then somebody starts sending her these blackmail notes, and they want her to find out information about things that are happening in the palace. So she ends up taking the job, and even though he can't see her real face, like the prince is immediately drawn to her and like very trusting of her, and it like puts her a little bit off kilter because she's not used to that. And so this was very fast paced. Like I said, I flew through it. I thought that a really good job was done to surrounding the siren aspect, because you know, like, sirens are more seductive, and that can be a little weird and awkward in a YA when you take these mythical characters that are more known for their sensuality and try to put them in a space that's really like for kids to read. So I thought that it was still like sensual, and you still got like the vibes that she, like, but without having to like go like overboard. Like, she didn't even kiss the prince, but they just had so much chemistry together. So I really thought she did a great job with that. And I said the pacing was great. There were lots of little twists, like we're following the mystery, trying to figure out who the blackmailer is. Like there's this group targeting the prince. We're trying to figure out who's targeting them, who is trying to kill off different men to eventually kill the royal family. So there's like a lot going on, and I am very excited to see where book 2 goes. But this is a great debut, probably like one of the better debuts that I've read in a long time. It's definitely worth checking out. And as far as the Little Mermaid movie novelization, I have started reading that, and it's interesting to see like the little changes that have happened so far. It said I already knew like the sister's name change, which I'm not like a huge fan of that. Like I feel like just because we race bent them doesn't mean we have to give them more ethnic sounding names, like, because then like too that means that they had to have cut one of the songs out the movie, and I love the big opening number in the original, so that's kind of a little disappointing. And it's not like the sisters got so much more development, like it's kind of blink and you miss it at least from like what I'm seeing in the books so far, like of them, because they don't have like that big introduction concert. And it's very weird because they changed it so that each sister kind of rules over a different sea, and I wasn't sure about that either, because like I feel like part of the reason why Crichton was so on Ariel is because he wanted to keep his family so close. But like if everybody's going off into all different directions, like what's his deal? But I'm going to be reading more of that, and then I will end up giving you my full thoughts when I see the movie tomorrow, which I am so excited for. Since I am doing that private screening with the IMAX, I just decided to get the matinee tickets. So I'm not seeing it really fancy or anything, but like I do want to like wear my Ariel shirt, and I'm not sure if I want to like do the red hair wax to do my hair, or if I'm going to pull out my Ariel Mickey ears, because like it's not like I'm going to Disney all the time where I'll be able to wear that again. So I'm like thinking about it. I'm seeing like some people post their little creative fits on Twitter, and that's really cute. But yeah, I was also watching Little Mermaid the series again because I remembered I have Disney Plus and it's on Disney Plus. I can watch it, and I loved that TV series as a little kid. I would watch it whenever it was on TV, so it's like very nostalgic and fun to like watch some of the episodes again after not seeing them for years. And Ariel was really like giving Triton like a hard time every single episode pretty much. She's always running out doing something, and Impulsive bringing in strange people to the palace. Like she always was out there making new friends, and like you can tell why he has all those gray hairs, because she puts him through it. It's just like fun, and so I'm gonna watch some more of those episodes, and I'm going to finish reading the novelization, and then when I check in with you again, I'll be giving you my thoughts on the novelization of the book, and I'll give you my thoughts on the movie. Hey y'all, so I'm getting ready to leave for the theater soon, and this is what it's looking like. I'm wearing my Ariel shirt, and this is just like so much fun being a little bit extra. You know, like how everybody when Black Panther came out like was wearing their like African wear. Like this is my time to shine as like a Little Mermaid fan. I know everybody's gonna be like all decked out for the Barbie movie, but like this is the movie like I've been anticipating. So I'm excited to go see it, enjoy the music, and I can't wait to check in with you guys later. Hey everyone, so I just got back from the Little Mermaid movie, and I'm ready to give my thoughts, and I'm just going to talk about the movie and the novelization of the movie, since they're of course intertwined. And the novelization was written by Faith Noel, so keep an eye out for her. She has a Black YA mermaid fantasy project she's been working on that we'll probably see like announced any day now. So I know like it's part of the reason why she was given the opportunity to write this book was because she had that project going on. And this movie really did give like some good opportunities for some black authors to get some IP work. I don't know if a lot of people on BookTube realize, but for authors who stay afloat, they often have to do these IP projects, which is like writing for an already existing property versus their original to make some extra income. So majority of like the authors you see consistently putting out books, they're writing a lot of IP. And IP, they usually are paid just a standard amount. You don't get residuals from it because it's not your property. So this one, Disney Books usually doesn't really have a lot of black authors writing for them, and like I do have a friend who wrote for Disney Books, and I've kind of heard like some different things about that experience. And so I'm glad that these authors did get an opportunity, and we are getting these books out here where these black kids can see themselves. But I'm hoping that we're able to get more original stories too. That is one thing about like the race bending. Like I'm not a huge fan of doing that, and studios do it because they want to put out their same stuff over and over again, but they also want like diversity brownie points, I feel like. And it's good and bad. It's good because we're getting representation with familiar characters that people enjoy, and black kids get to see themselves on screen. But the downside is that oftentimes like they put these black women in these roles where they get a lot of racial hate and they're not getting protected enough, and it's just, oh, like that part is like a horrible experience. And Hallie's definitely been getting a lot of unnecessary hate, and it's very gross. And even some like the racist, like you can kind of tell that's for some people they were like hoping to sexualize Ariel, or like the live action version. I'm like, this is a children's film. Like it's clear that like they wanted somebody that they like in the role they could wank off to, and I'm just like, again, this is a children's film. That's disgusting. But that's what I'm getting from some of like the racist hate online. In addition to the racist hate, I find that like it also brings out the fetishization weirdos, like who fetishize every time they see a black woman and a white male paired together, and those people are also weird for other reasons that they need to seek therapy for. And I'm even seeing with Percy Jackson, I had to actually block that from Twitter because those kids are 12 and people were just doing a lot of projecting, and it was really weird. And I'm like, calm down. But when I was walking into the theater, I heard these like white people walking behind me talking about, oh, well, did you hear about that Little Mermaid movie? Like I heard people aren't really accepting it well, and da 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 da. And I'm like, y'all hating, y'all even going to see this movie. Like the way this movie has already made so much money during opening weekend, and you're here on opening weekend hating from outside the club. Okay. But I was super excited when like we open up. I wanted the sisters like opening numbers. A little sad we didn't get that, but I thought that the scenes under the sea were beautifully shot. Like they were so colorful. Even like the CGI hair didn't look terrible, although where they did the hair, like they made such a big deal about her having locks, but there was too many straight pieces in it for me. And it was really evident when we were on the land scenes and it was dry, and I'm like, they said something like it was $150,000 spent on the hair, and I'm like, where did that money go? Because the hair in the dry land scenes looked a tangled mess. There was too many straight pieces. It looked stringy. It was overly frizzy. I'm like, $150K for that? Like they done up at least like some black hairstylists got good money. Like, I know it was a lot of work, like taking down like the hair and stuff all the time, but still, I'm like, it could have been better. And the hair looked a little orange on screen. Like in the illustrations, it looks good. I like it, but on screen, it was kind of orange, and there was like some blonde pieces in there, and then you could kind of see her natural locks like peeking out in some scenes, and it was really like they could have done better with the hair. I'm like, I actually wish they would have gone a little bit darker, not that bright fiery red of like the cartoon, but just like a little bit darker, like what Halle was rocking for the press tour. That was a really pretty hair color. And I think they did like the straight pieces just because it's easier to CGI wavy hair versus locks, but it was like looking like straight hair with like random locks like in between, so I wasn't a fan of the hair. I also wasn't a fan of that blue dress that she wore for the majority of the movie, like with the ugly pink headband. That headband looked terrible. It looked like one of those headbands you use to cover up your edges when you're trying to make your hairstyle last on its last legs, and the blue dress was ugly. It reminded me of the plantation, to be honest, and I feel like they took every pretty gown moment out of this movie for reasons I don't understand. Like, they didn't have the dinner scene. They didn't have the wedding at the end. And like, those were changes I just felt were kind of unnecessary. Like, there were some changes in them that were really good, and I don't want to get into all of them, but they're like, and then there were just some like I found interesting, like, so in like the original movie, we see Ariel sign like a contract, and as a kid you don't understand like what a contract is and about it being like legally binding and stuff, and then when you're adult, like, it's a funny, like, you understand the joke. Here they did a blood oath, and I'm like, oh well, that's dark. I already knew, like I said, because I read it, I knew like that was happening. I'm like, that's different. And the new songs could have been left on the cutting room floor, to be honest. The only one that was good was that one that Ariel had after she got her legs, but it's like in her head because she doesn't have like her voice. That Scuttlebutt song with the rapping could have been left on the floor. Eric's ballad, like, Halle was singing, she was singing, and it wasn't that good. But her voice was amazing, of course. Flawless, like, blew everyone out of the water, gave you goosebumps, so good. In addition to something that they changed, because I mentioned before, I was upset they changed like the sisters' names, but they also got rid of Carlotta, who was like the head of the household for the movie, and instead they have this woman named Lashana, and I don't understand why she couldn't have just been Carlotta, why we needed to change the name to give her like a more black name, like, and like it was weird to me, just like how the sisters, it's not that they don't really get any more depth, like they still have like a bare minimum feature and bare minimum lines, but everybody had a different accent because it was like everybody was speaking in their regular speaking voice in this movie except for Daveed Diggs, so the accents were like all over the place, even within like the same families, like people did not sound alike, and I'm like, that was a choice. I did like some of the things that they added as far as like in like bringing attention to the environment and like some of the damage that humans do, and that's like why part of the reason why the mer people didn't like them. So I thought that was really well done. I think Faith Noel did a great job like adapting some of the little things, because you don't have like the music here to carry, so she kind of had to write around those scenes, but still include them because they were pivotal. I would have loved to just hear a little bit more about like the colors and stuff, of how everything looked under the sea. I think for the movie, the pacing was very fast at the beginning, like very, very fast in the first half, and everything just like flowed along, and then it just kind of slowed down. Like I said, there were some unnecessary songs, and it had a long running time. Like, I'm glad I didn't have any kids and there weren't really too many kids were in the theater where I was at, but like you could hear the kids getting a little restless at points, and then they put on that terrible scuttlebutt song. I think that was to wake the children up because there wasn't a lot of like excitement like after that. But I'm like, they could have shortened it just a little bit. It was a little long, but overall it was really good. They did try to incorporate like a little bit more Caribbean fun, which is something like that movie and like subsequent things related to the Little Mermaid have incorporated throughout the years. So that was nice, and overall it was a good movie. It was one of the better adaptations that Disney has done. There was just like some acting stuff here and there I didn't really care for. Halle carried this movie on her back. She was amazing. Melissa, they carried this movie on her back. Like, they did so well, and I think those were the two people who were really like strongly judging. I thought Jonah did better than I expected. He and Halle had great chemistry together, and I liked that they made Eric like a collector of things. So he got to bond with Ariel and show her his love of different cultures and having these different experiences and finding things in the ocean and stuff like that. Javier Bardem, he looked the part of King Triton, but his acting was really, really flat for like the majority of the movie, and I'm like, did he want to be in this? Because I don't understand. Like, he just wasn't giving the emotions that he needed to give, especially during like the really pivotal scenes. And I'm like, I don't know if it was a director's choice. I'm like, he could have gave more. And like, especially when like you like those scenes where you're getting like angry and riled up, like it could have been a little bit more animated, for lack of a better term. But oh, also there wasn't enough Flounder. Like, it was like really more obvious in the second half. I'm like, where's Flounder? I would have liked to see, if they're giving anybody an extra song, it should have been him. Like, that could have been he could have had a cool extra song. But he was like adorable otherwise. And it's very like I said, I'm really looking forward to more Black Mermaid books being published. Especially, I would love to see some more on the adult side. Like, the ones I've read I haven't really liked. I do need to look more for more indie stuff, although the last indie one I read was just like a really bad mermaid romance. And I like it's kind of hard to do the mermaid thing without going like the Little Mermaid out and making them like giving them legs to be mostly on land, because it's just like a little more limiting writing stuff set in the ocean. For the adult stuff, like, I'm still looking for a good adult mermaid story. I don't consider the Deep one, I don't consider that a mermaid story, and I did not like that one. I felt like it felt very long for a novella to me, and it just was telling us, like, you know, stuff we know, like, you need to respect your ancestors and the struggle they went through and blah blah blah, over and over and over again. Like, people swear this message was so deep and it was so powerful, and I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. Like, I feel like it didn't give me anything I didn't already know, so it just like felt long. I felt like there was a lot of cool stuff that it could have done with like the mermaid aspect, and it didn't. It was just like walking us through the trauma that the MC was experiencing, while also just telling us the same message over and over again. So I wasn't a fan of the Deep. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you're not a fan of the Deep, and da 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 da, and they try to convince you that the Deep was so good. I did not like the Deep, okay? I also didn't like, what was that one? 2043, A Merman I Shall Be. I didn't like that one either. So I'm definitely on the hunt for more Black Mer people stories. I'm hoping that we get some more soon. I like that the kids are starting to get a little more trickling in, and I was excited to share some of these with my niece. It brought me joy to read some of these and see like that rep. So overall, I think I'm gonna end the vlog here. It was really good reading these books, and I did find a new 5-star favorite. I look forward to the sequel to Sing Me to Sleep. And if you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!